All right, shalom, shalom. Call I am La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles and to the elders of great millstone who really teach well. Much peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect, pushing his word and truth and sincerity. Shalom. This is the brother Batak back again through the spirit with another lesson, the Lord willing. This lesson is edifying. The title of this lesson is going to be E. E is a Niggard. Esau is a Niggard. And I'm pretty sure I probably did a lesson like this before. If I haven't, then I must be, I don't know. But can't fully remember. But this title came to me earlier this week. You know, I think it was something that a brother said. And it inspired me to do a video based on this very fact of how Esau Edom's a Niggard. When you look up the word Niggard, it means a stingy person. And you can probably, those that are in the know can probably already know where this lesson is going. Esau has rulership and power over the whole world because of what prophecy that the Bible speak, that he was going to be ruling in the last days. With his rulership, he has power and influence over everything, and he wants everything to himself. He hoards all of the world's natural resources. He hoards everything to himself, and he does not want to share the pie, not even with his own people, and this is specifically targeted to the ruling elite, the international bankers. They are the ones that are really, really, really fucking the whole world over, if you know what I mean. So, and they don't even care about their own people. Close out some of these tabs. They don't even care about their own people. So let's get the word Niggard. It says a mean or stingy person. And that's exactly what Esau is. He doesn't believe in fairness. He doesn't believe in equity. He doesn't believe in all of these scriptures, all of these things that the scripture tell you to push. And one of the most things is charity. Esau don't believe in charity. It says benevolence for the poor. Let me see. Let me see. It says an act of kindness. I might have to Google it, get a better definition from Googling it. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay. Charity meaning in the Bible. In the Bible, charity refers to a profound, selfless love, especially the pure love of Hamashiach rather than just material giving. Let's see. What is the true meaning of charity? Generosity and helpfulness, especially towards the needy or suffering. Aid given to those in need. Receive charity for neighbors. So, when it comes to being a man of the Most High, man of God, charity is something that is very, very important. The scriptures tell you charity covereth the multitude of sins. So the scriptures speak and teach us how we ought to act and conduct ourselves towards each other and to others. But Esau takes these same principles, and he is the total opposite of it. This is charity is giving whatever resources we have in order to meet the need of another. And Esau does not do that because he's a Niggard. He would rather take. Here you are, a couple examples. Let's get the word stingy real quick. Stingy says unwilling to give or spend, ungenerous. See, Esau can funnel billions of dollars to fund his war machine in military industrial complex. Industrial complex meaning for America. Let's type that in. It says the military industrial complex in America is the powerful symbolic relationship between the nation's army, the nation's military, defense contractors, industries making weapons, and government, creating a self-perpetual system that fuels massive defense spending, shapes foreign policy, and drives economic activity, famously warranted by President Eisenhower as a potential threat to democracy due to profit motives influencing perpetual conflict or high spending notes. So, through the military industrial complex, America funnels a lot of money into their military. How much money does America spend on its military? It says the U.S. military spending is massive, projected around $997 billion for 2024, accounting for nearly 40% of global military outlays, with recent legislation authorizing over $900 billion annually for covering operations, personnel, weapons, and R&D for DoD and other agencies. So America spends a lot of money on its military, amongst other things, but its main thing is its military. But American poverty rate. Let's look this up. This is why, a good example why Esau, the rulers of America, the Esau Edom, they're niggards, man. They're stingy. And they hoard all of the resources and the money to use for what they have. They want to use it for, but meanwhile, the Americans are suffering. It says the U.S. poverty rate was 10.6% in 2024, a decrease from 11.1% in 2023, with 35.9 million people in poverty. See, so what am I showing you here? America spending almost $1 trillion on their military. But yet you have 39 million people in America that are living in poverty. Something's wrong with that. How many people are on food stamps? In America are on food stamps? Approximately 41.7 million people in the U.S. were enrolled in supplemental nutrition assistance program, commonly known as food stamps. And the average month during fiscal year 2024, this number represents about 12.3, or roughly 1 in 8 of the total U.S. population. So there are 41 million people in America that are getting food supplemental nutrition assistance nutritional assistance. So if America spent half of the money that they spend on their military, everybody in America would never have to see poverty. They spend enough money to give at least every American $1 billion. Think about that. The population of America is like 300 and some million. So they have the ability to give each American $1 billion now, $1 billion. And they will still not even get close to the amount of money that they spend on their military. But meanwhile, everybody in America is suffering. But they're living good. They're spending money on military. How much money does America send to? All right. It says to date, the United States has provided, I'm not going to say it, you see it, 174 billion current or non-inflation adjusted dollars in bilateral assistance and military defense spending. So this is another bill that is this is a lot of money that's being sent to a foreign country. Let me see how much money is America sending to, is it Ukraine? I'm not sure if they're still sending money to Ukraine. Let me see. Let's see what it says. Since the start of the conflict in February 2022, the U.S. has appropriated approximately 175 billion in total funding related to the war in Ukraine. This figure includes military and financial and humanitarian aid, as well as funds for related U.S. defense operations and support for U.S. weapon manufacturers. So they got all this money for everything else. Everything else. But meanwhile, your people are suffering. This is why I'm doing this lesson. Now, we are in captivity. We understand. We get it. These people, this is why the Lord told them, no heathen to rule over us from among thy brethren. Because he doesn't give a rat's ass about us. Reparations, yeah, we'll never get that. They got all this money, but they ain't gonna give Jake none of it. It's the book of Deuteronomy 17 and 14. You want to know why the Heavenly Father don't want us to have no heathens ruling over us? Look at America as an example. Nobody's gonna care for our people. Nobody's gonna fight for our people. Nobody's gonna defend our people. It says, verse 14, it says, when thou art come into the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and thou shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like all the nations that are about me. Thou shalt in any wise set him king. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yahweh thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brethren. See? Now, granted, there were cases where kings of Israel, Jacob, different kings of the nation of Israel, they used to lead the people astray. They used to sin. They used, things of that nature. So, I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that there were wicked rulers over Israel. So don't get me wrong on that. But we're just using Esau as the ultimate example of don't give a fuck. He's the wicked. He's the worst example. He's the worst person to have ruling over you, man. So we don't want no strangers ruling over us because we know how they are and how they're going to conduct themselves. Sirach 14 and 3 says, riches are not comely for a niggard. And what will an envious man do with money? And that's exactly what we're seeing. We're experiencing it every day. What are these devils doing with the money that they possess? They're starting wars. They're funding all kinds of perverse programs. They're passing all kinds of wicked legislations. They're pushing on unrighteous decrees. Why? Because they have the power, meaning they have the money. If you follow the money, it'll lead you right to who's ruling there. Follow the money. That's a common thing in economics, man. Follow the money. Because the ones that are in power, the ones that have the money, that have the riches and the power, money brings power, man. And that's how this world works. And they have all the money. Therefore, they have all the power. They have all the control. Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. So they have the money to push different legislations. A lot of things, man. Money is the root of all evil. For the love of money, the root of all evil, man. And does not Esau love money? You see all the things that he do for it. 1 Timothy 6:10, for the love of money is the root of all evil, while some covet after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So we see example of a niggard, a stingy person that has money, you know, because he hoards all of the money and all of the gold, all of the resources, silver and things of that nature. He hoards all of these things to himself. And he does not just give. Oh, you ever seen Esau just giving away something that's precious like gold? Oh, we're having a gold giveaway today. Which a lot of these problems could be solved by Esau, by the rulers. But they're niggards, man. They're stingy. They're not gonna give people no gold. They barely want to give people SNAP benefits, man. They don't want to give you shit. And that's the sad reality of this place, man. It's the reality of who's ruling. You know, that's who's ruling, man. A stingy ass person. And they hate poor people. Let's get that real quick. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 13, verse 19. Hold on. I'm gonna start at 18. It says, what agreement is there between a hyena or a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? As the wild ass is in the lion's prey. I'm sorry, I'm gonna read that again. As the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. As the proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor. See? And a lot of people in America are poor, mainly Israelites, you know. You have some Jakes that are living well, surviving, doing what they do. But for the most part, us as a people, we're in a bad condition. And there's a difference, between the rich. The rich hate the poor, man. They hate the poor, even though they can solve people's poverty problem. They can solve a lot of these issues, but they're not, because they're niggards. That's the point of this lesson. They're fucking niggards, man. They're not gonna solve these issues. You know, they're spending billions upon billions of dollars building these AI data centers. Let's see, how much does it cost to build AI data center? See what it says. All right, it says AI data centers costs are massive, including huge upfront investments, hundreds of millions to billions for large facilities, and significant operational expenses driven mainly by expensive AI accelerators and intense power cooling needs, with estimated projecting global AI infrastructure spending to reach 1.3 trillion in capital expenditure. So even them building these AI data centers cost a lot of money, man. A lot of money that they're not giving to the people. This is the mean. This is what he's talking about, man. Stingy person. Unwilling to give or spend, ungenerous. And it's not, everything is not about money, but that's what Esau's world is all about. It's all about money. Who got the biggest dollar bill? You know, Niggardly implies giving or spending the very smallest amount possible. Um, Let me see some more precepts. You have people that protest because of all of the wicked things that the government doing, but the whole world is failing to realize who's in power, man. These people are niggards, man. They're not looking to share any damn thing. They for themselves. They're selfish. Sirach 31 and 24. I'm sorry, verse Sirach 14 and 10. A wicked eye envies his bread, and he is a niggard at his table. I don't know what it. I mean, let me see. Bible. I'm about to see what the is it the NLT? No. Sirach chapter 14 and 10. Sorry. This is the book of Sirach 14 and 10 in the G&T. It says, some people are too stingy to put bread on their own table. I'm going to go up to verse 3. It says, it isn't right for someone who is selfish to be rich. What use is money to a stingy person? If you deny yourself in order to... No. All right, so what is Esau doing with the riches that he has hoarded to himself? He's causing all kinds of evil and wickedness, and ultimately is going to push the world. He's going to push the world into a new digital system, a new way of living that is going to be put an RFID microchip inside of you, man, a micro C-hip. And they're going to use all of this money that they have stolen, riches gotten by deceit, and push forward their agenda. Sirach chapter 10, verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So that's what all of these things that are listed, unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, Esau's guilty of all of these. So ultimately, his kingdom is going to be taken away from him. But so we're ready to get from under this niggard, man. Just to name a few things, we work, we get our wages once a week, or once every 2 weeks, or once a month. Some people get paid once a month. Government employees, and just last month, a couple months ago, there was a government shutdown, and the federal employees like TSA workers, federal agents, they wasn't getting paid, man. They wasn't getting paid because this whole system, bro, is just a big mess. Life is made difficult for you here in America intentionally. It's made very difficult for people, and it's society where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. There are many ways that these devils can make things better for everyone, but that's not who we're dealing with, because they're not about equity. They're not about fairness. They're all about me. So, as the title says, Esau is a niggard. He is a niggard. So we just wanted to make that point real quick through the Spirit. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And we're seeing more and more examples today how people are living and how things are unbearable. Everything is expensive. That makes it even worse. It makes things worse. Inflation. The wages you make don't keep going up, but the prices of everything is constantly going up. Everything is inflated, but guess what? You're still getting paid the same wages. Why is that? Why is the system that way? Why can't we get more money? So therefore, we'll be able to afford a lot of these things that they keep jacking up the price on. Why? Because a Niggard is ruling. That's why. Somebody that's unfair. Somebody that doesn't care about nobody but themselves. And this is the worst case scenario because it's driving everybody to their knees. So Lord, in this lesson is edifying. I'm going to close it out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom.